Yes, my Between the Liners, welcome back to the Between the Lines podcast. Welcome to the match reaction for Arsenal 2, Spurs 2 at the Emirates Stadium. I couldn't go no further than getting my cousin back in the building. You might know him around Wembley as Mr. Royal Box, big Arsenal fan. Welcome to have back. Good to have you back on the channel, Nayim. What are you saying?
Yeah, good to be back. And I just want to say North London is still red.
We've just seen the Arsenal game together. I guess maybe more impressed with Spurs than as impressed with Arsenal. We already knew Arsenal's levels at the moment. Spurs have done well. Nayim, before we get into the game and like the positives and negatives as an Arsenal fan, I guess we should look at the starting lineup before the game. Was you pleased with how Arteta went before the game?
Glad he left Havertz out because I think that was always the question mark. Who's he going to go with? Is it going to be Vieira? Is it going to be Havertz?
Yeah.
I think Vieira was the better option. And then obviously disappointed in the back line. Sorry, not the back line, the front line.
Yeah.
Because I did think Trossard will play, and I was hoping Martinelli will be back from injury. And then the controversial hot topic, the one to talk about, David Raya or Aaron Ramsdale. Is looking like David Raya is going to be the one that's going to be number one for Mikel Arteta.
But how do you feel about that? Because off camera you were saying you weren't. I guess you was a bit disappointed Ramsdale's being kicked out of the team. Or it looks like he's been kicked out of the team.
Do you know what my thing is? I'm not arguing who's the better keeper.
Yeah.
I'm arguing
maybe like who deserves to play.
Yeah,
like,
you can't. I think it's really disrespectful, and also I think it's bad for the dynamics and the momentum of a team to take a player off and stop them from having games when they're in form.
Yeah.
And Aaron Ramsdale didn't have any bad games.
I don't think he deserved to be dropped.
Yeah, he didn't deserve to be dropped. And I think if you wait on it, if you had, for example, waited for him to have a little bit of a bad game, which it comes around every 10 games or so, you have one poor game.
Like eventually he might have made a mistake and you could have justified swapping Raya.
Yeah, and you make a mistake and then what do you motivate him with now? Because if he goes and has a good game, there's still the potential that he's taken off or he doesn't get a game. Yeah. Or the other thing you do is you wait for the cup. So you don't play him in the league. Yeah. You play Raya in the cup. If we had the Champions League, and you could have just given him all of the cup games, and then kind of midway through the season make a decision based on who's performing better. I just think the way that he was taken out of the squad, it was random.
It was harsh. It was harsh.
4 games into the season, just swapping him out, and then cup game came around, Reyes picked again. Yep. North London derby, arguably the most look forward to game in the season. Yeah, he's dropped again, and I think that just speaks volumes, really. Very
ruthless from Mikel Arteta. In a way, I kind of respect it. I rate it as well because at the end of the day, for me anyway, Raya's a better keeper than Ramsdale, so I get why he's gone with it. But yeah, a bit harsh the way he's taken out Ramsdale out of the starting lineup. Just quickly before we move on to the positive and negatives, what do you think about Vieira? Was he the better replacement for Havertz? Is he a better option than Havertz right now? Which is mad to say.
Personal opinion, it should always be Emil Smith-Rowe. Should be taking that cam position if it's not Odegaard.
Yeah, but he's not on form. So
Fabio Vieira is a tricky one because he's obviously come in. He had a massive impact in the Community Shield. Yeah, he had a massive impact against Fulham, and then he played a couple like good games in a row where he had massive impact off the bench. That's why he deserved a place in the starting lineup. 100%. He deserves a starting.
Like he looks match fit right now.
He looks match fit. Yeah. Whereas last season, if you had asked me, I would say like Vieira was the biggest waste of money. I don't understand why.
A lot of Arsenal fans.
And I'm still going with that. I still don't think that he's the quality that we need to take us to the next level. I do think it's Emil Smith-Rowe. I think Emil Smith-Rowe should be playing if Odegaard's not playing in that cam. But yeah, that's another controversial.
All right, Nayim, let's take it on to the game that happened today. I guess we'll start off, let's say, with the first half for now. First half, I guess, maybe the most surprising thing from that game was probably the way Spurs came out and played. We've seen how they played recently in the last few games at the beginning of the season. They've been quite aggressive, showed quite a lot of attacking intent, and they've carried that on into the Emirates, which was quite surprising. I think you handled it fairly well in the first half, and then I guess we've got to start with your goal. You got the Saka deflected own goal from Romero. Probably good play from Ben White going down on the overlap, taking away defence. I think Udogie and Brennan Johnson both ended up following him. Saka's space has opened up. He's taken a shot, might have been probably going wide. Romero has kicked it in. Did you think he deserved the goal at the time?
Yeah, it's
maybe
mad.
at that moment it was coming in, or he was in possession.
I think before the game we knew that Ange ball, as they like to call it, is going to be a very attacking.
Bro, can we just say Ange ball, man?
Yeah, it doesn't work. It doesn't work.
You need to stop. And it's too early to. You can't just term that.
5 games in the season trying to go.
Spurs fans are so gassed, man.
You're using kind of that phrase very loosely. Very loosely.
Like poor man's Arteta ball.
Do you know what? Nah, but okay, let's go with it. Let's give it to Spurs fan where they want it. And we knew that it's going to be attacking. We knew that they're going to come forward. Previously in North London derby, Spurs would have probably just sat back, and then attacked on the counter. And they done it really well, pretty much always. They came forward. They were comfortable on the ball. They played through the middle. They had a few times where Maddison dropped in, played similar to the Odegaard role, where he'll drop in, turn the ball around, start playing the ball forward. Which was interesting because I did think that if they did do that, then Arsenal would turn them over.
Yeah.
And that nearly happened, really, because you got obviously Jesus got in, put Maddison under pressure.
Yeah. Should have probably scored, at least scored on target.
Yeah, 100%. I think that would have changed the complete dynamic of the game. But the Saka goal, the first one, go back to your question. Yeah, I'm surprised they gave Saka so much space because I don't know what they were expecting. You know Saka's going to cut in. You know that he's going to try for that shot on the far corner. How many has he scored now? In the big games as well.
Does it so often.
The one against United when he done the Rashford celebration. Like, since then, he's just been doing it again and again and again and had so much success. You had your centre-back and Udogie kind of just like sitting back and waiting for him to do it, which was mad. I don't know how.
They gave him way too much time.
Way too much space. And obviously Ben White took them out.
How do you think Saka did for the rest of the game? Because Udogie, who got a yellow pretty early on against Saka, I think in the first 15 minutes, I thought Udogie battled against Saka pretty well for the rest of the game. Maybe Saka was a bit quiet for the rest of the game. Didn't really impact the game as much as you would have expected from such a big game player for you guys.
No, but Saka done his job.
Yeah, I guess so.
Remember, Saka done his job in terms of
score the penalty
really stretching out that defense, stretching out that back four, and then cutting in, and then playing the typical Arsenal way of like the cutbacks. So he'll start on his left foot, he'll cut back onto his right, or he'll go on his right foot, cut to his left, and then play the ball back into the middle. Like those are what you expect from Saka to do.
Yeah.
And he done that throughout the game. It's just I think Tottenham got very comfortable. I think where we lacked, and people will blame Saka for it, and they'll start having their opinion on Saka. But I think where we lacked is obviously we didn't have that penetrating striker, that clinical striker in the middle.
Yeah.
I don't think Nketia done his job in terms of getting in front of goal side of his man and trying to really get the ball in before the keeper. So you didn't have any options in the box. So where Saka was trying to create, I don't think you had a second option for him. That's why the Ben White one was critical. Because Ben White went on the overlap, then you created some space in the middle. Yeah,
you give him space to do what he needs to do.
And usually a winger would like kind of whip the ball in, probably put it in front of the keeper, in between the centre-back, and then a striker would jump onto it. Saka knew he couldn't do that. He doesn't have the striker to be able to do that. So he just cut in and had
takes
the shot.
A shot, and he's so accurate with his shots as well.
Got to remember, there's so much details that go into these types of games and these wingers. And I think people chuck it around loosely like, Saka didn't have that much impact. He was doing and playing with the resources that he had.
Yeah, fair enough. So after the Spurs goal, about 15, 20 minutes later, I'd say Spurs rode out the pressure pretty well. Well, after you scored, it looked like you was about to get another one, like Jesus was pressuring Maddison, probably should have put it away. Then Spurs might have been done and dusted there, but you didn't take your chance. Spurs started build up in a lot of confidence. Honestly, I was quite impressed with the way they were building out from the back throughout the whole game. Romero kept it, Van de Ven kept it, Bissouma. From my point of view, obviously I'm a United fan, but from a neutral point of view in today's game, I might have given him man of the match. I don't know what you thought. Like, I thought he was one of the best players on the pitch throughout the whole game.
Yeah, Bissouma done
composure, his strength.
Bissouma done well. He kept Odegaard quiet.
Yeah.
And I think that's massive. I think in any game, if you can keep Odegaard and Saka quiet, you can ride out the pressure. And it's really hard to do that.
Yeah.
So Bissouma done that really well.
I think he was involved in the build-up to their goal. He won the ball back from their half. They built it up, and just before that, they started putting a spell of pressure on you. They was attacking with quite a lot of attacking intent just before the end of the half. Then they've managed to nip a few balls in between each other. I think someone has Kulusevski has laid it off to Son. Son's cut it back. Wait, who scored the first goal for Spurs? Son, yes.
Yeah,
Son scored.
Son got.
Was it Madison Cross?
Madison
Oh yeah. I was talking about the one.
I
was talking about the one that saved. Raya saved.
Yeah. Brennan Johnson.
That's the one. Yeah. Brennan Johnson had a shot that was showing signs of what Spurs were capable of doing. And then I think a couple of minutes later, they're still pressurising you. Madison's gone down the right, taken on Saka. I think beat Saka, got the cross in. Son with a great finish. And they were showing signs that they're still within this game. Even though it looked like he was going to pull away from them, they showed that they're still confident and capable of getting back into the game. And then I guess we'll take it on to the second half. You've won the penalty. All right, let's talk about that penalty decision. We had a bit of debate about it off camera. You're sure it's a penalty, innit?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. And this is the reason why. And I'll back it. Like, look, I referee as well, and I referee in the professional game, and I'm saying it straight. You have to be able to justify the decision that you're making, and I'm justifying it based on this. So hear me out. The ball is away from the midline of his body, and his arm is away from the midline of his body. Under the laws of the game, that is a penalty. Now, the Premier League has inconsistency because they allow the interpretation of the laws of the game. Stick by the laws of the game, and you reduce the amount of inconsistency that you have. So what I'm saying is the laws of the game dictate that is a stonewall penalty. As doesn't matter about the distance, doesn't matter about his intention, doesn't matter what angle or natural body movement, etc. His arm was away from the midline of his body. It was detached from his body, and he stopped the goal.
All right, listen to me now.
Cool.
Speaking about someone, obviously, from playing, I know you've played as well, but if you're playing football and the way Romero's gone to block the ball, he's fallen to one knee. Naturally, when you fall to one knee, you don't fall like this. You fall and you keep your balance up, because if he puts his hands down, he's going to fall to both knees and he's going to fall face first. But if you fall to one knee, naturally your hand's going to go up like this because you're balancing your body to stay upright. Your hand's going to be up like that. Naturally, I'm doing it now. I'm sitting down.
He's still using his arm.
But he didn't do that to block the ball. He did that to block the ball with his body.
Hear this. His arm has blocked the ball.
Yeah.
His arm is a foul part of his body.
Yeah.
You cannot use the arm. Whether it's deliberate or whether it's not, you can't use the arm. Do you get it? If it's by the side of him, I hear that. If he's on his chest, I hear that. Do you get it? I'll understand if there's some sort of interpretation there, but it's extended away from his body. You've fundamentally made your body bigger. Yeah, you're blocking the goal.
Yeah, but also there's another man behind him. You know, there's a defender behind him on the line. So I'm saying it might not have gone in anyway.
It might not have gone in. Cool.
So the hand's there. The hand's there. He's blocked it. I get it. It's not a clear goal scoring opportunity.
You're allowing too much interpretation because you're going, what is a fair distance? What's enough distance for you to think about it? What not? The game moves at 100 miles per hour. End of the day, the arm has been used to stop the ball moving in the forward direction. It's changed the direction of the ball, which means it's a penalty. And I'm not saying, hear me out as well on this. I'm not saying that there's not inconsistency. I think
major inconsistency.
United had the same issue
with Romero as well.
It wasn't given
same
a penalty
defender
for exactly the same thing.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Which should have been a pen.
Which again,
by the laws of the game.
By the laws of the game, it should have been a pen. Yeah. So what I'm saying is, there's too much inconsistency because we're allowing interpretation. Remove the interpretation and just say, is that a penalty or is that not? That is a penalty. And that's it.
Yeah, in the end, I agree. I think it's a penalty. I think it was a bit harsh as well. But yeah, Saka's taking the penalty. Impressed with the penalty?
Yeah. Saka's
you were thinking he was going to miss?
Bad feeling. No, do you know what? It's just a bad feeling.
Yeah, no, you said bad feeling. Yeah, you didn't say he's gonna miss, but you said you had a bad feeling.
It's just like, do you know what? Spurs have actually turned up. I'll give them credit. Like they turned up.
Definitely.
I think they knew that a lot of them won't admit it now. They'll because obviously they've had a good result, but a lot of them were expecting Arsenal to turn them over. Let's be real. And I would love to see them kind of challenge.
I'm pretty sure 95% of them would have thought
they're going to challenge
lose.
in the comments. They're going to be like, Spurs were always better. Arsenal were always going to get done out, whatever. But I know that Spurs fans went into this less confident. Arsenal fans went into this more confident than Spurs fans. But it's just worked out how it is. I think a draw was a fair result, to be fair.
Yeah, I think draw was a fair result as well. But you've scored the pen, Saka's gone down the middle. 1 minute and 34 or 42 seconds later, you've conceded a goal to Son again. Maddison dispossessed Jorginho. Rice obviously went off at half-time. What did you think of substitutions? Let's talk about that first. So Rice went off and Fabio Vieira went off. Rice has supposedly gone off with a calf injury, bottled the North London derby potentially.
Don't do that.
What? Because he seemed all right in the first half, no?
No.
I didn't see him look injured, no?
Bandaged. Come on.
Yeah, but did you see him running any differently?
He did not bad. If you want to,
did he run any differently?
I'm going to bring it back to a couple of weeks ago. Lisandro Martinez came off Arsenal versus United at 1-1,
and then he went and played for Argentina.
3-1, and he went and played for Argentina. What, 3 days later?
Something like that. Yeah.
That's
no. That was great recovery from the Argentinian medical staff.
You got sick physios.
Yeah. But yeah, all right. If Rice didn't bottle it, supposedly, what did you think of the decisions? I guess no option with Rice.
I think everyone predicted that Havertz is going to come on for Vieira, and I think that was expected. And cool, let's play that. I trust Arteta. Whatever it happens.
We're okay with him bringing him on at 45 minutes because I don't think Vieira did anything majorly wrong.
A bit early, but then you could see the battle between Maddison and Vieira, and it was Vieira was starting to lose the ball a lot more.
Yeah. That's true.
I think, cool. Arteta just decided, okay, let's be safe right now. Did it work out? Probably not. Has it worked out for Havertz in the last 7 games? No, it hasn't.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Has it ever worked out for Havertz in the Prem, at least?
No, not in the Prem.
Yeah. Not really, to be honest. Yeah. So, I guess the changes didn't really change anything in your favour. You know, there's one thing that we should pick up.
Well.
Go for it.
Like, we just didn't have the strength in depth.
I was just about to say,
No, we didn't.
Maybe this is a sign that neither of you do, because Spurs, they brought in Richarlison, who was as shit as he usually is. Who did they bring on? Anyone else? I don't think they brought anyone
Richarlison
else.
was the only one that they could bring on. Højbjerg was.
Højbjerg came on as well.
He's a starter last season, or starter under Conte, and then obviously he's come on and.
But he's not reaching this new Spurs level, innit, at the moment. He's not Bissouma.
He's not.
He's not
that player.
Yeah, he's not that player. Yeah. But then,
he's a good core squad player.
He's putting a shift.
The same thing that Jorginho is for us. Like he's not going to be the player that's going to take us to the next level, or even improve our squad. But he's there as a good squad player. Yeah. And I think Højbjerg will be that under Postecoglou. Yeah. Like he won't be a starter. He won't be a game changer, but he's a good squad option.
Yeah. So both your sides have shown that you probably haven't got the greatest strength in depth at the moment. Obviously, there's a few injuries on both sides as well. Who are you missing? Partey's obviously missing.
We're missing Partey. We're missing Martinelli. And
Trossard as well.
That's 3 really strong
big players. Trossard probably would have played today if he was fit.
I think Trossard would have played. Jesus would have played down the middle.
Yeah, and Nketia would have been on the bench.
In the middle. Whatever. Possibly. But Trossard definitely would have played on the left.
Yeah, so taking it back to the goal, Jorginho has been dispossessed by Maddison, who I thought kind of grew as the game went on. I don't think he started off amazing, but as the game went on, he started getting better and better. I started getting more involved, started pressing your team a bit harder. His technical ability was a bit better. He got the assist for Son as well.
Got 2 assists. He got both assists.
Oh yeah, he got both assists. Yeah. He got both assists. So well done to Maddison. Started, like I said, he grew as the game went on. Disappointing with Jorginho, especially with the experience he comes along. Wasn't strong enough, and he's not really that strong anyway.
Do you know what? When we were watching in there, I was thinking to myself, when Arsenal are on the ball, and especially when it's on the back line, so when you got Rea, you got Gabriel, you got Saliba, you got Zinchenko, when you got Odegaard or Rice, that core part of the squad, when they're on the ball and they're put under pressure, you have a lot of trust in them.
Yeah, they're strong.
Because
solid.
they've been doing it. They've been doing it for about 2 years, and you know that there's a rhythm and there's a structure, and you know that there's always an option. It's very rare that they do make a mistake. They do make mistakes, but it's very rare.
Like when Rice was on the pitch, he kept it.
Yeah, 100%.
Kept it moving.
And even when Raya had the ball,
Yeah.
like late, like kind of his last man, obviously,
Yeah.
he's very close to being pressed. But actually, within myself, I knew,
you're confident he won't lose
I'm
it.
okay
Yeah.
because I know that Arsenal have done this
Yeah.
week in, week out, day in, day out at training, and they've practiced 500 different options for this. When Jorginho came on, as soon as he got the ball, as soon as Maddison started pressuring him,
Felt
I was
nervy.
like,
Yeah.
it's not happening. And then Maddison took the ball, and you just gotta think, Jorginho's not match ready, match fit, and in sync with the rest of the Arsenal squad in the same way. I'm not saying he's not a good player.
Yeah.
He is a good player.
Because the player he is, that should be his bread and butter. Receiving the ball, get rid of it to the next man shorter. He shouldn't be losing it there, innit?
I think
because he's not match fit, he's not
match
sync
fit,
with your
and
team.
Arsenal are playing at a much higher
level,
intensity and pace than what he is used to. Because he hasn't played at that pace for a year and a half. That's a long time. Obviously he's there at training and whatnot, but you're looking at the types of ball players that you have in that squad. You've got Saliba, you've got Zinchenko, you've got Odegaard, you've got Partey, you've got Saka, Martinelli, who are all playing at that high intensity. Jorginho doesn't probably stick out in those sessions. That's not one of his strengths.
Yeah, that's true. He's not intense
remember
enough.
those little small-sided drills that you're going to do in training. Jorginho's not going to be the person that's going to pick up the ball quickly and distribute it out. He's just not that player anymore. He's more there to be a rock now. And you saw that go wrong, basically, because Jorginho's come on and he's lost the ball in exactly the position that you'd need someone to be quicker, and moving the ball quick, and he's lost the ball there.
Yeah, I think he's lost a lot of his match sharpness and rhythm, and like you're saying, he's not in sync with the Arsenal team. So then it's become 2-2, and I'd say Spurs kind of edged that second half. I don't know what you think, until maybe the last 10-15 minutes. I'd say you guys got intense again and you wanted to close out the game with a win. You started getting a few more corners. Are you disappointed with the team, the way the team kind of, I wouldn't say buckled under pressure, but didn't compete as much as they did in the first half maybe, or didn't compete to the level that Spurs were coming at them in the second half?
I'll be real, you expected that with the subs that were made. You knew that Fabio Vieira and Havertz, they're either like for like or it's a downgrade. And you know Declan Rice for Jorginho is a downgrade. That's the spine of the squad. You saw Odegaard being kind of pushed out of the game a little bit more. Bissouma done a fantastic job on him.
Unbelievable job, Bissouma.
And then, obviously, because he's got two weaker players around him, he's not able to be as creative and free.
Well, so your midfield in the second half was Odegaard, Jorginho and
Havertz.
Yeah, that stinks. That's pathetic, Let's take it on to Odegaard for a sec, because obviously I'm a United fan. I know a lot of people criticise Bruno in the big games. One question mark for
Don't say Bruno Odegaard. Don't say that.
No, I'm not saying it because Bruno's better anyway. But one criticism, one question mark I think Odegaard has around him is also in the big games. I know he scored a couple bangers here and there, maybe against United, but today I don't think he really stood out at all today either.
No, relax.
What, you think he done enough today?
I'm gonna cut you there.
No, you think he done enough today?
He had to do his job and he had to be more conservative because of the fact that he had two weaker players around him.
But even in the first half, what did he do?
One, he got the assist. If Romero's goal doesn't count, he got the assist. He created most of the play.
But he got that assist wasn't much.
He dictates the direction of the game. He's the one.
But I don't think he did that today, though. I don't think he dictated the game like he usually does.
The space that Saka was able to create was because of Odegaard. You got to remember that, because you got to remember the striker's not doing the job.
I hear that.
The striker's not
I hear that.
penetrating those two centre backs. So you got Odegaard's creating all the space for him through either creative play in terms of distribution and
or
playing the ball in
movement
front,
around,
or movement around. Because
Nketia is not doing that enough.
Why was Saka given so much space is because they had to take Odegaard out of the game. So you got the CDMs, which is Bissouma, kind of sitting and staying goal side of Odegaard and not closing down on Saka. Odegaard does what he can with the resources that he's given, and he's the most creative. And you even said it. Look, technically, you can't put this guy under pressure.
Yeah, he's unbelievable.
Like, he's just unbelievable. He gets out of danger. He gets out of challenges. He cleans things up. He's so composed. His awareness, his vision is outstanding. He is quality. And what the big games come with different requirements, and that's what I'm saying. You need to understand is, with those big requirements, he has to adapt, and he's adapted.
So this big game thing against him, you don't really see it, and you haven't seen it before.
No, because he's still turned up. He's still been absolutely instrumental.
So you don't think he was quiet today? Games. What about on the ball? He was quiet today. I hear you. Maybe off the ball, he's creating space for Saka. He didn't have as much
time on the ball, and that's just because that's the way the dynamic of the game was. That's not because he's a bad player, or because he's not able to turn up. He just knows that where he can allow Declan Rice to kind of clean things up behind him, and obviously with the way that we play with the inverted fullback, you've got Zinchenko. Without Rice being able to do that, he's got to sit deeper, and he's got to just allow things to happen and wait for things to happen and clean things up. Yeah. He's a captain. He can't go loose and erratic and just start diving into challenges, lunging forward. He was still probably the one that covered the most distance, because you got to remember he's playing the number 8 position. So he's not the cam, he's playing the number 8 position, but him and Eddie were the ones pressing on the ball.
All right.
In every single movement that Tottenham were making, him and Nketia were the first ones pressing on the ball, and Vieira would sit off. So you got to remember that distance that he's covering and the impact that he's having on the game, because he's allowing everyone else around him to play. That's captain material.
I hear you, because you know what you've just picked out, a lot of people will forget about, then they don't notice the work rate off the ball. And even though it's a big game, just because he hasn't got the assist or the goal, they might just discredit his performance when there's more to it than that.
Yeah, 100%.
Let's get thoughts of Shahaan on the channel. You guys have seen Shahaan on the channel before. He's tried to call me 10 minutes ago. Let's get his thoughts on the game. You know, he's a big diehard Spurs fan. Let's see what he says. Hopefully he picks up. He said he's at the barber. How can he be at the barber while the game's on? That doesn't make sense. Right. Did he watch the game or? All right, he hasn't answered. We'll call another Spurs fan while Shahaan does whatever he's doing, getting the trim or whatever. Let's get his thoughts of Shere. That's his little brother. You guys have seen him on the channel as well. He bottled coming around here today, by the way.
Listen, you should video call these in.
I need to try that actually. Yeah. Shere didn't come around today because he was shook that Nayim was going to cuss him out about Spurs, and they thought they were going to get battered. Let's see what he's saying. Yo.
Hello, what
are you saying, cuzzy? You on the channel right now? What you saying? Gas with the game?
100%, bro. It was a good result. I'll take that. Shouldn't even won, really.
Wait. All right. We're going to have to call you back in 2 minutes, yeah? All right, say.
The lines are busy.
Yo!
What you saying, bro?
Just had to block off Shere Show just to answer this call, cuzzy. What you saying?
What you saying, man?
Yeah, you're just live on channel. I'm here with Nayim as well. Shahaan, any of your quick thoughts on the game?
Well, my prediction was it 2-1 Arsenal or 2-2?
Yeah, that's what you did say.
I think, listen, it was a fucking really good performance for Tottenham, definitely. Considering, fucking own goal and then fucking penalty. But I'm happy.
Excuse the language, guys.
Happy with the performance.
Yeah. Who do you think was the standout performers on the pitch, Shahaan?
For Tottenham or for both teams?
Both teams. For
Tottenham, Basuma.
Yeah, I gave him my man in the match.
Basuma was probably he's like Rolls Royce of a midfielder.
I thought he was unbelievable. Yeah.
He took the ball with 3-4 guys around him and was just putting it past them like they weren't even there. He was absolutely incredible. Yeah. I think Van der Ven did all right. He had a really good game, I think.
Did he?
I think he had a good game, man. He did well.
Did he?
Good 7.
Of course he did. Bro, what are you talking about? On that left side...
I didn't think he did anything.
Listen to me. Let me explain. On that left side...
Romero was shocking, so he done something good.
Brennan wasn't tracking back. He was told not to track back. He was told to stay forward. He was 2-on-1 any time.
Yeah.
Apart from that goal, Saka didn't do shit past Udogie. He didn't get past him. Udogie was
Naim's got a rhetorical against this way.
No, I hear that. I actually agree with that, because do you remember there was that one time where Brennan wasn't coming back and Van der Ven was so far forward, but he allowed Odegaard the space in the middle, or Nketia in the middle, and he just couldn't do anything with it.
When you look at that match, what did Arsenal really do that game? Nothing. They could have played all night crossing the ball in the box. Unless it was a penalty or own goal, they wouldn't have scored a single goal. Would have played for 200 minutes. They would not have scored a goal. They were trying to score like the perfect goal, bro. They're not going to do that.
Yeah, but that's the Arsenal way, isn't it?
We dominated them on possession. We dominated them on passes.
Dominated on possession?
Passes. Yeah, we had 5% more possession than them, G. It's domination, bro.
I don't know if that's domination, bro.
Not domination, but we went to fucking Emirates and we fucking everyone thought we'd crumble. We won't touch the ball.
They did have more of the ball. They played from the back.
Yeah. Not gonna lie, Shahaan, really impressed with Spurs today. The way you came out at Arsenal and the attacking intent that you had.
Look, Arteta was rattled in that touchline. He was a fucking animated piece of shit. He was like fucking all over the place. Calm, collected, big hands, laughing, just calm. Kept his head. And you know what? The thing is, if Maddison and Sonny didn't go off, I think we would have won that match. I really think we would have won that match. Just because we were starting to go really before they went off.
Yeah, you were getting into your rhythm,
stick or twist. As soon as they went off and we brought fucking Højbjerg and Richarlison on, it was always going to be, don't concede.
Well, Shahaan, you a bit surprised at how much you might have, or how aggressive you were, and how maybe shy Arsenal were in comparison? You surprised?
The pressure was on Arsenal. Pressure wasn't on Tottenham. All we've been hearing up in this build-up is Arsenal going to steamroll Spurs. They're going to smash Spurs. Boy, it's easy to pump up your team when you're saying, look what everyone's saying is going to happen. And Arsenal, they were fucking barking like dogs, but today they meowed like fucking cats. Lucky own goal, lucky penalty. A few years ago, we would never get the penalty like that, but I'm happy with the result, man.
Well, you think it's not a penalty, by the way, yeah? Nayim was pretty sure it was a penalty.
No, it's a penalty by the way the law is now. Yeah. But his body's in a natural position. He's leaning back. Like, what do you want him to do? Yeah. He's not going to fucking fold his arms and tuck him into his pocket, is he? Ridiculous. It's never. Those should never been given penalties. Those things. His body's in a completely natural position.
Just quickly, Shahaan, what do you think were the positives for Arsenal then?
Positives for Arsenal was, I think, Saliba had a good game.
Yeah, he's class.
I think he was really, really good. I mean, Udogie nearly had him at the end, but he recovered. Yeah. I think Saliba had a good game. Yeah. Who else had a good game to them?
Maybe I don't know actually. Who else had a good game?
No one really stood out for me with Arsenal. No one couldn't really sit there and say,
Nayim wants to know what you think about Odegaard. I know Odegaard has this thing against him in the big games.
Pocket, mate. I didn't see shit from him today, man. Square past Merchant. I didn't see nothing from him today, mate.
Yeah, but Naim's got a rhetorical to that. Hear him out.
No, my point was Odegaard had to play with the resources that he was given, and in the second half he had two players that were a lot weaker in Jorginho and Havertz, and he just had to be the rock in that middle for both of them.
Look, Jorginho and Havertz, I agree, are crap. I get you, but they're very senior players. We're talking about, Champions League winners. We're talking about players who've, they've played at. I'm sorry, it's no excuse, man. You're playing against... Who are you playing against? Basuma, fine. Saar, who's a kid. I'm sorry, he's a fucking kid.
Maddison.
He doesn't even start with Bentancur when he's fit. Yeah. And, all right, cool. But, no, I'm not going to... Look, I'm happy with the result, man. 2-2. Arsenal, all the hype around Arsenal, couldn't even smash these Spurs kids up, man. Couldn't even beat a fucking couldn't even beat us new. Yeah, bro, of course, man. You got kids in there, innit?
What? There's only one kid in there, and it's Saar and two. It's Udogie and Saar. That's it. There's no other kids in there, bro.
Udogie's, bro. What do you mean? Udogie's a kid.
No, I'm saying Udogie and Saar. That's it.
Bro, left back against their best player at right wing, and
and he's up against another kid in Saka.
Van der Ven's a kid as well, G. He's like 23, bro.
He's not a kid, bro.
He's a kid, bro. It's his first for 5 matches in the Premier League. He's a kid, bro.
All right, Shahaan. Thanks for the call and thanks for letting us know.
Quick message to Arsenal. Go for it. You lot fucking shit. You lot shit. Yeah. Can't even beat fucking Spurs. Shitty Spurs, man. You can't even fucking beat Spurs. That's how we went to their backyard. Right, and we matched them in all departments.
Come on, back your team more than that, man. Come
on. Thank you, bro. Appreciate it. Yeah, love. Safe. Nayim, you've heard the thoughts of a very gassed Tottenham fan right now.
Do you know what?
He's going on like he's won the game. What's your rhetoric?
Do you know what? I respect the opinion. One, I do think that they've got the better side of this deal because I don't think Arsenal wanted to go into it and get a draw out of it.
2-2 is a great result.
The momentum that we've had and the momentum that we've had over the last year and a half, Arsenal would have wanted to go into it winning the game. Yeah. Full strength squads, I do think that Arsenal have a better squad. obviously up for debate. So therefore, Arsenal would want to go into it winning. On the end of it, the fact that we've got a 2-2, I think Spurs fans will be the happier of the fans.
Yeah.
Because like he said, I think he either predicted a draw or an Arsenal win.
Yeah.
And I said the same thing. So therefore, I think Spurs fans will be
the happier with the result.
I respect his opinion. I think he said it straight up. It's a penalty. Under the laws of the game, it's a penalty. So what else are you arguing? Why are we arguing anything else?
Yeah.
If the laws of the game dictate that it's a penalty, then it's a penalty. Then what else did he say around? I do agree with him. I think Van der Ven had a good game. I think he did cover the bits where Brennan Johnson didn't double up. Because I don't remember a game where somebody hasn't doubled up on Saka.
Yeah. You have to. If you're playing against Saka, you're gonna have to double up on him.
So the fact that Van der Ven did that is good credit to him. I think it's good. I think where the only thing I disagree with him on is like we wouldn't have an opportunity without an own goal or a penalty. Because I do think we had some good opportunities. I just think we had them earlier on in the game, and we should have capitalised on them. We've played that play from the back football longer and more experienced at it, which means we should have set a standard early, which means Jesus should have scored.
Yeah.
He should have taken a ball off Maddison and said, this is our football. You're not touching it, or you're not coming near it, or you're not at the level. And Jesus should have scored. If that happened, we would have won the game 2-0, probably 3-0, 3-1. I think that's where I think the game would have gone. But unfortunately, it didn't work out that way.
Let's talk about the striker situation, Nayim. Obviously, Nketia and Jesus for both sides today. Jesus was more on the left, wasn't he?
Yeah,
he was more, but also kind of inside a lot. What's your preference going along with the rest of the season? Obviously, Jesus ain't the greatest finisher, but outside of that, his ability is unbelievable. Nketia, you were saying, isn't the greatest at anything, but is good at everything.
Yeah.
What would you prefer going ahead in the season?
Yeah, I'll be real. Like, I like Nketia. I think Nketia is a really good squad player. I like the fact that he's worked hard to get into the squad and make himself a starter.
Yeah, come through the academy.
I just don't think. I don't like bashing players, man.
Yeah.
But
what is he good at? What is he amazing at?
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Like, his hold-up play isn't the best.
Yeah.
And before last season, his hold-up play was shocking.
But he's improved that, at least.
He's improved that.
Yeah.
He's pacey, he's strong, but he's not fast.
Yeah.
He's not
aggressive
he's
either.
Not beast, he's not aggressive.
Like, he's a bit casual. Like.
Yeah, his finishing is good, but he's flopped a few chances as well.
Yeah.
Like, there was one chance where he went inside post.
Yeah.
I think a top level striker
Would've gone
does
across
something
goal.
better
Yeah,
with
yeah.
that. They either go
or try to
goal
someone up
or cut it back.
Yeah.
So those are the types of things. Like, he's a good 6 or 7 out of 10 in everything. And you just got to think, if Arsenal want to challenge for the league, then they got to get somebody that's going to be 8 and 9 consistently.
But is that somebody Jesus? I'm not sure it is.
I think Jesus can get you
15
consistent 8s.
Yeah.
He can get you consistent 8 out of 10 performances. And I think he does something special. But I think that's where he was at City as well. Like, he can consistently have good performances and bring him off the bench, and he can give you something. He can add a little different dynamic to what you're doing already.
The only thing he lacks is finishing, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Other than, if he had finishing, he'd be one of the best strikers in the world.
And he goes down like a sack of potatoes, man.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, he just falls on every challenge.
Yeah.
And I think the one where it really annoyed me last year was against, I'm rewinding it back to against Southampton.
Yeah.
And one of the ones where I really look back on last season where we messed up the league, kind of that's the game that we need some points in. And is it Saleh Tassar just bullied him. And
who did, sorry?
Saleh Tassar.
Okay. Yeah.
He just bullied him.
Yeah.
He just, like, there was a couple that were a foul. There was one that was probably a penalty, but because he went down so theatrically, the ref would just wave it on. And then that's now you lost the game because there's so many opportunities where somebody stronger or somebody who can do that clinical number 9 work would have probably just finished that Southampton defence off and probably would have scored a couple goals there. And those are the games where it's like, okay, you need another option. So that's where I was like, if you had a Balogun that you can bring off the bench and develop, who's strong, who's a good finisher, who's got that typical number 9 about him, that that's why I would have preferred keeping Balogun over Nketia.
The only thing is he's not proving it in the
Yeah,
Prem yet, innit?
Yeah, he is what he is, man.
Yeah, it is.
And
But when is he going to get that chance? If not now. But obviously he's been sold now.
And obviously, for those that know, obviously I worked at Arsenal, so I saw Balogun coming up. Had a good close eye on the academy, and as he was playing with the 23s and whatnot, and he was solid. Like, he was too hot to handle in the academy. Absolute baller, and I do think he'll go on to have massive achievement.
career,
Even though he missed 2 penalties yesterday,
Yeah.
I think he's going to be a 6 striker.
Yeah.
So I do feel like we've lost out on a real gem.
Yeah.
Especially when you look at like who we've produced: Saka, Smith Rowe, those types of players who
Nelson,
are going to have crazy careers.
Nketia,
Injury free. If they do stay injury free, Balogun was probably one of those that were in the list of like they're coming.
But he wouldn't have played more than Jesus, which Nketia is probably willing to accept.
Yeah.
That's why he's here. Probably.
I hear that. But I think if you said to Balogun he's going to be a number 2, so he's not behind Nketia, because
he
you got
might
to remember
accept
he's
that,
a number 3.
Yeah.
And number 3s are only playing Europa
Carling
League,
Cup, maybe.
Carling Cup, Europa League. They're not playing.
Carabao Cup either,
they're not even coming off the bench.
Yeah.
So if he managed to get a good 10, 15 minutes every couple of weeks, I think he would have been happy.
Yeah.
As a number 2.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
But as a number 3, I think
It's not acceptable for him.
That was too much of a weight for him.
Yeah. Bringing it back to today's game, Nayim, who would you say is the man of the match? I know I have kind of said Basuma. I think Shahaan's probably agreed Basuma. We forgot to call back Shere as well, by the way. Fuck Shere, don't worry. He didn't come round, fuck him. Who do you think was man of the match for today?
I'm biased.
I know, yeah. I had a feeling you'd say an Arsenal game, which I don't blame you. It's 2-2, you're at home. Why should it be the away side? It doesn't have to necessarily be the away side.
Nah, do you know what? I'll give it to his Tottenham player.
You think?
Yeah. I'm going to say Basuma was strong in there, but I'm going to say Maddison.
Madness.
Yeah.
Madness. I thought you were going to say Arsenal player.
Nah, I like Maddison.
Yeah.
Do you know what? That's another
Top
thing.
footballer, man.
That's another thing is like Brennan Johnson and Maddison are 2 top quality signings, because I think they would have
Signed for
added
Arsenal.
value to Arsenal squad as well.
So
I think, and they're both like Brennan
which
Johnson's.
is big praise coming from an Arsenal
Brennan
fan.
Johnson's young. Like Brennan Johnson's got a good career ahead of him, innit? Madison's established.
Yeah.
I think I said it to you as well, innit? I think if he stays away from injuries, he'll be alright. But the problem that you've got with Maddison is every few months he goes in for 4 weeks.
Nayim said that
3 weeks,
before
4 weeks.
today's game, and then he got injured today.
Yeah, Maddison has always had a few injury problems, few little niggles where he can't get out of it, and then that's a mess up for his season. Because even I remember when he was with Leicester, he had an amazing run of form where he was playing the number 8 position, and he was killing it. He was scoring 2 goals per game from number 8.
I think I remember that phase.
Yeah. And then he got injured.
Yeah.
And you got to think, if he managed to establish himself as a number 8,
They got relegated the same
Leicester,
season, huh?
then I don't think they would have got relegated, because he would have been that playmaker. He would have been what Odegaard is for Arsenal right now, playing in the number 8, creating everything and making those penetrating runs, similar to what Xhaka did last year. You got that number 8. If they're good enough and competent enough, they can change the whole dynamic of a team.
Yeah, sure.
So, like, I do feel like injuries will play a part in him not having the greatest of seasons.
But man in the match, you're thinking Maddison, yeah?
Yeah, probably.
Well, mad. Man in the match from Nayim to give it to a Spurs player at the Emirates today as well, against Spurs of all teams as well. That's big praise from Nayim. Nayim, looking ahead, obviously you guys have got, I think I just saw, who have you got next week? You've got Bournemouth next week, away from home. What do you think? 3 points?
Cup
Bournemouth
game.
have just lost to... Oh, sorry, you got the cup game. What?
Yeah.
Have you got Bournemouth in the
sorry,
cup?
we've got Brentford in the cup.
Oh, Brentford
and then
in the
we've
cup.
got Bournemouth. Obviously, Bournemouth, we have to just come back and we have to... I can't lie, we have to turn them over.
Should be 3 points, isn't it?
Yeah, but it need more than 3 points. It needs to be 3-0, 4-0.
You think?
Yeah, it has to be.
But I feel like that's high expectations from you, because you guys have been playing so well recently for the last year or so, yeah? I feel like even if, look, you've come away 2-2 against Spurs, and then you go next week away to Bournemouth, a little 1-0, 2-0, even if you start through, shows
let me tell
character and grit.
Let me tell you something. Like, Arsenal are not going to win the league this year. And I'll tell you why.
That's sad, man.
Don't do
Spurs
that. Listen. I don't think Arsenal are going to win the league this year. And I'm not putting expectations on winning the league. I want stability, and I want a good Champions League run, quarterfinal, semi-final.
Yeah, of course.
Semi-final's a big push, but quarterfinal...
It's possible, man. I've seen the team in the Champions League. They're not all that. Like,
That's what I'm saying.
it's not that strong this year.
I don't think Arsenal are gonna challenge for the league, or it's not gonna be as tight as it was last year. The reason why is because we haven't taken full control of games yet. We've had what? Is it 6 games now?
6, yeah.
There's not one single game there that I would say that we had full control.
Why is that, by
throughout
the
the
way?
90? Whereas last year we did.
Yeah, you did.
We did have control.
What's the change though? What's happened?
It's mad to say. Xhaka.
I knew it. He's been dominating that midfield for you last season, and the way like he sets the tempo for the team.
No, that's mad. I never in my life.
I didn't think that was gonna happen as well, but it's actually proven.
Yeah.
No one's replaced him.
No, that's it. We just don't have the replacement.
yeah.
Like, I don't think.
But I think Rice should be that replacement. Stick Partey in the 6 and make Rice that Xhaka role. Because he's got that technical ability to go forward and back. He's got the engine for it.
Flipping
Party right back. Yeah.
Stupidness, man. And that's why I wasn't too worried. I was like, Havertz, great, good squad player. When we signed him, I was like, yeah, cool.
Yeah.
It's on 280k.
Xhaka's miles ahead of
65 million. And I was like, it hurts me to say that he's a squad player.
Yeah.
But actually, he's come into the starting lineup, and worse, you put Partey into right back, and I was just like,
for him,
big mess. And I think that's where the first 3 games Partey was playing right back, we had no control of the game. We looked awful, but somehow we still scraped the wins. Then we came up against Fulham, really took the consequences for stupid decisions.
What happened? I missed that game.
2-2. We went down 1-0. We came back 2-1.
Yeah.
And then they came back 2-2. Again, just not getting control of the game.
Oh, okay.
Like we got back those 2 goals in like quick fire, basically.
Yeah.
And other than the time that we got those 2 goals, we just didn't have control of the game. And you just got to think. So that's what I'm saying. Against Bournemouth, I think we got to set a standard of saying, what are we doing this year? Are we controlling games?
Get back to where we were.
Are we turning opponents over?
Yeah.
Where are we going? What are we fighting for? Are we fighting for top 2? Are we fighting for the league? Are we fighting for top 4? So if we're fighting for top 4, this is fine. Where we're at right now is fine. Kind of getting through games, winning it in the 95th minute, like against United and whatnot.
But you want to do more.
Well, I want to do more, and you got to set a standard, and you got to go Bournemouth, and you got to win.
I respect that a lot, Nayim. Looking at Spurs, they've got Liverpool on next Saturday in the league, 5:30 p.m. Obviously, I can't speak for Spurs fans, but I'd imagine they're probably pretty confident, even though Liverpool are doing really well at the beginning of the season so far. They're scoring a lot of goals, but they're also conceding goals. And Spurs are White Hart Lane. I can see them potentially coming away with 3 points against Liverpool, innit? What do you think?
Tight game.
Yeah, it'll be tight. I think they'll both go for it.
I didn't think Liverpool will do as well as they're doing now. Because I didn't think they had the spine in the squad for it.
Yeah. They've
and
won
Spurs
today.
are doing better than I thought they would be, because I thought Celtic manager is going to be kind of any typical Celtic manager. Had an easy run of it. He's actually turned it around. So Spurs are doing better than I thought they would. Liverpool are doing better than I thought they would. And they're both quite tight in the table. So let's see what
going to be a tough game. Yeah. Probably another 2-2 possibly, innit? They're both going to score goals.
I can see a draw.
Yeah. Same. Nayim, unless you've got anything else to add to the channel, add to the video even.
No, all good, man.
Make sure you go check out Nayim's Instagram as well. Links right here, or his @ is right here, doing big things in the community and with other football teams as such. Nayim, any final words for the guys at home?
Yeah, come on, North London forever. Arsenal, North London is red.
All right, guys, you heard from Nayim. This is me, Adnan, your host, Mr. Between the Lines. I don't even know why I just said that. Make sure you keep following, make sure you keep liking, subscribing, blah, blah, blah. Get in the comments. Let us know what you thought of the game today. Who is your player of the match, man of the match? What did you think about Spurs and the way they took to the game at the Emirates? What do you think about Arsenal? Is it worrying signs? Should they be doing better? Should they turn it back next game against Bournemouth and come with a 3-4-0? Or is just the 3 points enough? Let us know in the comments. I know Nayim wants that 3-4-0 smashing of Bournemouth next week. See you guys next time, I guess. Safe. Between the lines.